Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Moonboy, an artist producer, and I represent Krazyfi Music, an independent artist streaming platform, which is a place for all indie artists to be heard. And today I'm interviewing upcoming artist Zexzy. So let's kick off this interview by going behind the scenes with Zexzy. So, question number one: who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Zexzy, Wifo Williams, I tried. That's my real name, aka Zexzy. I'm from Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, signed to Maple Grove Entertainment in Canada. Right now I'm in the US and I'm working on the final stages of my album titled Every Sound. It's gonna be a one in a lifetime album, like the world
Amazing.
has never seen before because I'm an eclectic musician and there's just a whole bunch of sounds in there. So you're gonna be hearing pop, R&B, rock and roll, rap, Afrobeat, jazz music, orchestra. Practically all genres will be represented
Mm.
in there. Even reggaeton. So I'm sharpening my
Wow.
Spanish right now.
Wow.
So you
Wow.
guys better get ready, boy, and the world.
You are blessing us with sounds that we have not heard before. I am very excited for this album. So I am
So
curious, where did the name Zexy come from?
yeah, Zexy is the name. Yeah, it's more of like a corruption of the word sexy. It was a name my elder brother's friends gave me while we were growing up in Benin City. They used to say, "Oh, your younger brother is very, very sexy. You know, he's so sexy, he's sexy." So, I mean, that was how it was just there, and I didn't really take up the name.
No, you
Um,
were sort of
so
given
I,
the
I
name.
went through high school. Exactly. So I went through high school, and then I used to go by the name Willie Pro. Um, but then somebody told me, "Don't you think Willie Pro, aka Mr. Zexy, is wrong? Why not just bring the Zexy to the front and teach the Willie Pro?" So I thought about it. I was like, okay, if I wanted to go on a more serious route with this music,
This is where you're
I'm gonna have
going.
to go something very, yeah, easy and
Mm. Something to
something that
remember.
people can easily. Yeah, exactly. So that was how I came about the moniker Zegler.
Well, the name is very fitting. Um,
Thank you.
so from your content, from your social content and the music I've listened to, I can see you're a very like very creative individual. Um, so I'd kind of like to know what inspires your creativity.
Yeah, my environment, the things that I go through and the things that I see other people go through, it would be very simplistic for me to say just what I go through because I'm a very imaginative person. I think about the things that people don't think about. I try to put myself in other people's shoes so I can feel what they feel. And even sometimes I try to stretch the imagination from an experience into a whole story to make it more interesting. And then I could present it in a way that is much more interesting than maybe how it happened. So for me, yeah, the things going on around me, the things that people around me are going through. Yeah, I'm from Nigeria. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes on with our government.
Of course,
Um,
of course.
there's a, yes, there's a lot of money in the system, but it's in the hands of a few. And these few, they take it abroad. We don't have functional refineries, and then they take the refineries to countries that don't need it, and
Hmm.
then they take the crude oil to those countries, refine and bring it back to Nigeria. It just beats your imagination.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily poor, but when I look at some of the people around me hustling and trying to make it, I can imagine if all of those billions of dollars that some people have stashed away in Swiss and in other countries were in circulation in Nigeria,
Yeah.
life will be better for everyone. So I try to put myself in their shoes. Sometimes I try to assume that I don't have any food to eat.
Yeah.
What would I do, or what would I be singing about? So I try to let that inspire me. Somebody could be going through a heartbreak, and I try to let that inspire me, and I put myself in the person's
Mm,
shoes, and I
mm.
just try to say, okay, what if this was me? What if a girl dished me like this? What would I feel? And I let that anger, inspire me, and I write a song. And maybe on that song, I'm critical of,
That's incredible.
so sometimes, yeah, my music may not be an exact reflection of me, but just the things that I see
That are happening around you.
that are happening around
Mm.
me. Yeah,
So you would say that your music is for the people as well. So you're taking in these experiences, um, putting it from your own perspective, and then sharing it to the world, for people then to resonate and then be inspired by as well. So
exactly, exactly.
inspiration is a massive part of your creativity, in other
Yeah,
words, pretty much.
yeah. Because if I don't feel it, I'm not gonna sing. If it's not, if it doesn't give me goosebumps when I'm performing it in the studio or when I'm thinking about it,
Then you know
then
it's not the
then I
one.
know, yeah, I just know that people, yeah, not every song is meant for everyone,
Of
but
course.
there should be that part of you that really connects so much with the music, and you feel it within you that, okay, yes, this, if I put this out there and I feel like this,
Mm,
there are a lot of people I will be able to connect to their emotions via my own emotions. So
100%.
inspiration, if the creation is not coming and almost effortlessly, and making me feel a certain way, if I'm creating a sad song and it's not making me sad anytime I think about it or anytime I'm playing the song to
Mm.
myself, I should think that it wouldn't also make people feel sad. So I should be able to get the kind of words, the kind of instruments that will convey that emotion to people and make them feel how I want them to feel. So
That is
so that's why
amazing.
when you listen to all of my songs, when you
This
listen to all of my songs,
this is
different
what I
mood,
felt.
different spirit. Okay, yeah.
I
So
could
when
tell
you
whilst
listen to
listening to your
Leave,
music. Yeah, 100%. When I
so when
was
you
listening to your
listen to
music,
Leave, yeah. So when you listen to a song like Leave, it chronicles the struggles I have been through, like losing my singing voice for about 15 years of my life, and
wow,
I was grappling with depression. Yes, I was grappling
15
with the
years.
depression of, yes, I wasn't able to sing all of those times, and I had to take to rapping because I tried to get back my voice, but I could not. And after two unsuccessful nasal surgeries, because I had this condition they called rhinitis, where the turbinates in your nose grows and then it shuts your nose. It shuts one part of your nose, and after 1 hour, it goes to the other nose, it shuts the other one, and it opens this one. Yeah, so it's the craziest experience I've ever had. And um, so all of those times, it left me in limbo. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. The doctors didn't have the answers. So, I mean, after two unsuccessful operations, I started rapping because I got tired of trying to sing because I wasn't able to hit the right notes. And
Yeah,
then the minute I started rapping and I gave up the singing, from that day, I discovered that the power of letting go. I discovered that, putting myself at ease, I started to feel a certain healing from the inside. And little by little, I started getting my voice back. And it took years, but
wow.
it took me to ease from the tension to start getting my healing. So, so there is a whole lot for me to share with the world from my experiences and the things that I have seen. So that's why Leave was titled I Choose to Leave, because it was at that juncture where it's either I give up the music or I continue going. So living, in essence, is a way of saying you want to continue striving to
Yeah.
become who you want to be, not just existing, but living. Yeah,
Mm.
and then for those who are suicidal, it's also, a message that says, yeah, choose to live and not give up, so and not die. So either ways, however you want to interpret it to your own situation, I think it will fit. So
Well,
that's why I did that song.
I think you are living proof of that message as well, to just keep going. If I were to lose my voice for 15 years and um, decide whether to continue or not professionally in the music industry, especially as an independent musician, that's a big step in life to be okay, I'm going to keep pursuing. So you must have had incredible resilience and great mental will strength to say, I'm going to continue to do this, which, I think many independent artists would respect. So, on this topic, if you had any words of advice for independent artists who are starting out or they're having any struggles, what bit of advice would you give to them?
I think passion should be above everything. When you've asked yourself the question, if it's what you really want to do, um, you should be able to seek the right mentors and look at the stories of other great musicians. I watch stories of people like Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley. One thing that inspired me the most about Elvis Presley was how he dressed. I wanted to have my own unique costumes. I wanted to have the
Mm,
way I dress that people would see. And if somebody were to wear that in Halloween, you would say, "Oh, that is Zexzy." I don't want to just be a musician that just came and left the world, but I want to be able to leave a cultural mark. And then someday people will say, okay, Zexy is a cultural icon. I looked at myself, I discovered that I could take on different genres. I knew I could do it. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to impress any race or any group of people.
just yourself.
Because sometimes I do a song and people say, oh, it sounds like maybe like a white person singing, or sounds like you're from the Caribbean. So I take on these different accents. I just do them effortlessly because it's something that I love to do. I was mimicking accents right from when I was a kid. So I brought that into my music, and it's made me unique in my own way. So I asked myself
100%.
those questions. Every artist should ask themselves that question: what makes you unique? And then honing on that uniqueness, and then magnify it and project it to the world.
So find your niche and really express your niche with the passion that you have for music and life itself, really, um, which really shows with you and your
Yes.
costumes and your style. I think it's all incredible, and I think many artists would be able to take great inspiration from that. So now I'm actually curious. Growing up, who were your so you mentioned Elvis and Bob Marley, but when you were back in Nigeria and you were discovering music, who was your main musical influences growing up?
Okay, when I was growing up, there was a lot of reggae around me. Reggae was the in thing for Africans at that time.
Mm,
Like I said, there was Bob Marley. Bob Marley was dead long ago, fine, but his music was still around because his music preached
of course.
positivity and all that. And then there was Buju Banton. There was this other from Nigerian groups, like Raskimono, like Majek Fashek. He was a great musician too. Reggae, like Afro reggae kind of genre. So all of those guys kind of shaped my growing up. And then I discovered hip hop when I became, a teenager.
I think that
Started
happened
hearing
to
of people
everyone.
exactly. So started hearing of Tupac and Big, and then the music started changing too. R&B became a thing, and then I've always liked rock and roll. Brian Adams was always like a big rock and roll influence to me. Because I just heard Summer of '69 from the first time and I loved it. So till today, I still play that song. It's one of like my best songs in the world. So
Wow.
all of these different styles started to come together, and I just discovered that it was something I had for every genre of music: for rock, for rap, for R&B, and then uh, they started to inspire me, and I started to write too in those lines, and that was how I my musical evolution happened.
I think it really shows. I think
So
the versatility is a major influence on your music, and I think it's broadened you as an artist. I think it's made you wiser, being open to all these types of music and hearing these different sounds and adapting it for your own. And you can actually really hear it in your latest single, which is called Live. So if you haven't listened to it, everybody, go listen and stream Live. It's an incredible track. You can really
it's
hear the
actually it's
R&B.
actually it's actually leave. It's
Oh, is
actually
it live?
leave.
Leave. Oh,
I
is it live as
choose to
in live? Of course.
leave.
Of live.
Yeah,
Yes. Go and
yeah.
stream live because you have a choice and everyone should choose live. And you can really hear inspirations behind it as well. You can hear the rock, the R&B coming through all at once. How did you start that track? Did you guys start with the beat? Did you start with the lyrics? How did Live come to you?
Okay, I have a studio in my house in Lagos. So for this, I was working and he was working on a beat, and I've always wanted to do a song about my experience,
Hmm.
what I've been through with my voice and all that. So as he was making the beat, and I just started, humming the melody like I choose to leave. Oh, when I'm empty inside. I was like, oh, this sounds nice. Okay. So I picked up my phone and I recorded the melody, and I told him I liked the beat he was playing, and that and he was making the beat for another song, but I told him we could recreate something else because it happens a lot. I'm in the
Yeah, yeah.
studio, I hear a beat, I could sing on that beat, and then we recreate another beat for the new song. So that was how we recreated a beat for Leave, and then I recorded this. I wrote the song. It took me about a day to write the song because I've always had that experience in my subconscious, just waiting to be expressed. So it was pretty easy for me to write. I wrote the song,
An
and
hour is
then
impressive. Oh no, one day to have that all written down. That's very, very.
yeah, I don't know. Writing for me, sometimes I can write in 25 minutes. It just
Yeah,
depends on
yeah,
how inspired I am.
of course.
Um, but of course, there are other days where you just maybe change a word or two, in between. But the full frame can come in an hour or two. So I had it reading, and in a couple of days the beat was done. We recorded it, sent it to my mixing and mastering engineer. Then I was in Lagos, sent it to my mixing and mastering engineer here in New York. He worked on it, sent it back to us, and then haven't finished the song. I was supposed to have a concert with Versus. He's from Canada.
Amazing.
Um, and then he heard the song. I was like, okay, he has some bars he could spit on this song, and he wanted to do something on it. So we sent him the stems. He did the rap, brought it back, and it sounded
And
phenomenal.
history
We
was made.
just loved it. Exactly. So I had to take out one of my verses,
Hmm.
and that was still being in the original album, every sound. And then I had to, bring in his voice, and that was how we had Leave made. So it's
It
titled
sounds
Leave,
like
Zexzy, and Versus.
that's incredible because it sounds like one of them tracks that really writes itself, where you were feeling so inspired about your story and um, you had so much to say that in that moment you were able to just write a song in one day, get it all finished, and then have another feature artist come onto it as well. So this leads on to my next question, actually.
Yeah,
What challenges have you found as an independent artist um, in the sort of realm of artistry? What have you found the most challenging for yourself, whether it be inspiration or finding the right engineer or finding the right label?
yeah, I'm actually signed to a record label.
Oh, yes, of
So
course,
I'm
yeah.
not independent per se. Yeah, I have my record label is Maple Grove Entertainment. They're in Canada. But the major challenge I had before I got signed was, sometimes you have collaborations in mind and you want to work with someone, but
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have the links, there's no network, there is no finance behind you. So, and I was doing 9 to 5, and then sometimes you take your entire salary and you just throw it at one song, and
Hmm.
you're hoping for miracles to happen, but it doesn't happen because you discover that nothing in music is entirely just the way you want it to be. There's no funding behind it. Everything that is in front of you was pushed there because there was funds behind it,
Yeah,
be it by
yeah.
ads, be it by collaborations. I've done a couple of collaborations that will be on this album now. Great features. And if I didn't have a record label behind me, I wouldn't be able to hire the right lawyers to go through those contracts and sift through all of the nuances that I need to understand to get myself
Yeah,
involved in
yeah.
such projects. So the challenge is usually majorly the funding. because that's the key to almost everything that you
I
need to
agree.
do in music.
It
If you
is.
want to shoot a video, you need a budget. You want to promote that video, you need a budget. You want to work with another artist, you need a budget. So I think funding is the underlying challenge um, for any artist.
So for all the independent artists out there that aren't currently signed to a label, uh, what would you say to them in terms of trying to get to that position? How did you go about getting signed? Did you go and network, or did you send your music to certain people? How did you go about your process of consistency to get to where you wanted to be?
But that's another story in and of itself. I had already, planned to travel out to Canada. There's this express entry scheme that Canada does where it's a point-based system. You meet the points, they give you an invitation to apply. You need to have some funds in your account. That's
Mhm.
your proof of funds, and
Yep.
then you submit it. So they score you based on those things, and then in a couple of months you apply for the visa if you pass the cutoff mark, and then in a couple of months you get the visa, and then you travel out. So I was already in that scheme, had passed my IELTS exams. I was already scheduled to leave, and COVID hit. That was in
Ah,
2020. I was already in the pool. I entered that pool March 4th, and March 20th, COVID started. And in a couple of months, all the borders were shut. And I couldn't, in fact, they were not doing draws anymore on the express entry scheme in Canada. So I was in Nigeria. And then my elder brother, who is the CEO of my record label right now, had already sent me the money. It was in my account. And I was like, wait, so if the world were to end today and God asked me what I did with the talent that He gave me, what am I going to tell Him? I mean, because it was so uncertain if if the world was going to continue, because there were a lot of conspiracy theories and
yeah,
everybody
everything was
thought it was
flying around at the
probably the
time.
end of the world. So I just felt like, okay, you know what, this money I have in my account, I'm going to put it into shooting a video and just see what I
Incredible.
can do. And if I knew the amount of spending music promotion needs right now, if I knew it then, I wouldn't have thrown down that money, because I haven't done the video. I discovered that YouTube ads were so expensive,
Very
and that
expensive.
there was so much that I needed to do that I didn't have the money to do, and then I
Hmm.
was stuck because there was just a little part of that money left, and so I had to put it out there, put it on YouTube, did a couple of ads, and then I had about 14K views, and then I sent it to my elder brother because it was confession time, because I'd spent the money
The
that
money
he
had
gave
already
me.
gone.
so, 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 so he called me. I was like, okay, he did a video and it has over 14K views. Oh, that's good. And the song sounds nice. Um, I'm thinking we could invest in music. I was so happy because this was my leeway to let him know that I've spent the money he gave me. So I had to let him know that this was what I did with the money. Did this. I accounted for the spending. And that was how he set up Maple Grove Entertainment, and I got signed to the label, and that was how I got here. So
That's incredible,
I was
honestly.
fortunate. I was fortunate to have a brother who has the wherewithal to shoulder the responsibilities. But for before I got signed, some of the things I used to do, sometimes I hear of competitions. I try to participate. There was this time. There was an advert competition. They wanted us to do a 1 minute jingle. I participated. I had to go from one of my neighbor's house to the next, because they need to use their Facebook account to like the page before they
Oh
can
yeah,
vote
of
for
course.
me and then engage. It was a Herculean task, but then I would go with my laptop, open the Facebook account, and then they log in their Facebook. Because if I left it to them, they may tell me they will vote for me, but they still won't. So I had to make sure
Mm.
that everybody I went to their house voted
Was
for me before I
voting
left
on
their house.
Facebook.
Exactly. So it's very tough being
Mm.
an independent artist,
It's
but you
stress,
never
isn't it?
know. It's very stressful, but you never know what route will
So
get you in
keep
the face of
pushing,
people.
keep pushing,
You just keep
ultimately.
pushing. Whatever route I did a campaign song for Hillary Clinton from Nigeria. It's
Of
crazy,
course.
but I did it because I was just looking for an outlet. I just wanted the
Mm.
world to hear my voice, and
Express.
I was the type of artist who wrote about everything. If I keep hearing of Mom Boy, Mom Boy, Mom Boy, Mom Boy, it will come as a song. And usually, because every word and every name has its own consonant sound, it's
Mm.
going to come unique to me. Yeah, there's just a ring to Mumbo, and I want the world, and I would want the world to hear what I have to say about Mumbo. So there is something in every song for me, and it pushes me to want to push it out to the world
Yeah.
and just want them to hear it. So I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just kept throwing everything at it.
Trusting the
Um,
process.
just trust it. It's painful. It's easy to just lay back in. I mean, in all of this, I was doing my 9 to 5 because I needed to survive.
Of course.
And if I
Someone's got to pay
remain
the
on one
bills.
exactly, and I didn't want that the frustration to hit me to the point where it immobilizes me. I just kept
Mm.
moving, and I did the little I could do. I started an advert company. I would write adverts, do the voiceover, send it to the companies, and just hoping that if they put it on radio, maybe people will keep hearing my voice, and then maybe
That's
when
very
I
smart.
drop a person, yeah, maybe when I drop a personal single, they'll recognize the voice. That, oh, this guy that did, So I mean, just any idea that comes to you, explore it and just see where it leads you because you never know.
You never know. And in the end, sometimes when you feel like you're at the lowest of lows, if you just keep pushing, these opportunities present themselves round the corner. And it's really about the resilience as an artist because it's also the inspiration that you have. Um, and obviously you can hear it in your music as well. You can hear, your pain and your struggle and the emotional connection that people can have to your music. So how would you say that your sound has evolved from the beginning? So when you first started music to now, how have you evolved as an artist?
Yeah, so what has really helped me is listening to different styles of music. I mean, I started out always wanting to, because most of the American acts were my mentors. Um, I had, hip hop acts that were my mentors. I had R&B acts that were my mentors. But then, with time, most Nigerian artists wanted to look within and like, okay, what can we give back to the world? And we started developing Afrobeats. And Afrobeats became a thing. I started doing more Afrobeat songs. Um, but after a while, I told myself, look, there's this battle going on now in Nigeria. Oh, who's the GOAT between Davido, Whiskey, Burna Boy? Who's the GOAT? Who's the everything? I'm like, how do I separate myself from this
Mm,
crowd?
mm.
Because everybody seems to be fighting over one thing. I mean, Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll. Michael Jackson is the king of pop. Maybe Jay-Z, king of
King of
rap.
rap.
And yeah, why don't I become the king of crossover music? Why don't I why don't I put all of these genres together and do all of them so well that people are going to wonder, is this the same Zexzy that was on this track that is on this track and that is on this track? So I started to work on perfecting all of the genres. I'm not just focused on Afrobeats because I'm Nigerian and Afrobeat seems to be our biggest sound. So I started to work on my different sides. I didn't let any side overshadow the other. I just let the inspiration flow. If I have a country song, I mean, there's a country song on my album. There is folk
That's
music.
incredible, by
There
the way.
is, oh yeah, there's pop music. There is just every genre you can think of. Somebody listened to the jazz song I did, it was just saxophone, bass, guitar, and um, and piano, and it was like, whoa, this sounds like nighttime in New York. And that made me happy because I just want to reach different audiences and just make people happy doing the music. So for me, the evolution has been starting from one and then branching out into all of these different genres. Because when it's all said and done, when you say, who is that person that did it all and did it well? I want
They're going to be
Zex's name to
saying
pop up.
sexy. That's what they will be saying. So, do you have any memorable experiences? So let's talk about your up and coming album. So, has there been anything when you were recording your album? Is there any memorable experiences when you were making a song that you were feeling extremely inspired, or anything that really stands out from making this album?
Okay, yeah. I think getting a country song at some point was very challenging because I mean, I've gone through rap, I've gone through pop, I've gone through trap music, I've gone through classical, I've done orchestra, I've done jazz, and I was searching for that perfect country song. And so I was listening to a lot of country music, obviously, just to get inspired.
Did you
And
have any
that day I
favorite
put,
country tracks?
I like Tim McGraw.
Mm.
It's your love. I like it's your love. I like Luke Combs. Um, um, yeah. There's this other lady that I like so much. Oh, I'm trying to get my hand on him now.
It's
Um,
okay. I'm sure it'll
oh,
come back.
yeah. So I was listening to all of those great acts, and then I was on the plane from. I mean, I was going to take a flight from New York to Miami because I had a show.
Yeah.
So I missed the flight. And then I was put on another plane later in the day from New York to Dallas and then Dallas to Miami. And then when I got on the plane, I was listening to some country songs on the playlist while on the plane. And then I saw this air hostess, very beautiful, sweet looking girl. Like her teeth was so perfectly arranged, her face was so beautiful. And I just a song just burst forth. And it was a country song, or let's say folk music, folk and country songs. So like, you know, so the song, the melody felt so good. I had to pick up my phone and quickly record it.
Do a little
I
voice
mean, I
note on the
was
plane.
exactly. So I was asking her stupid, irrelevant questions because I just wanted to speak to her because she was so beautiful. Air hostess. So the title of the song is Air Hostess.
Amazing.
Uh, it's yeah. So it's one of those songs I always remember how I made it and how beautiful it was. The melody, everything just came right on time. There was no stress writing it. I just did my thing, and when I was done, the team was very happy that I
I
took
can
that
imagine.
flight, and you can imagine how I felt having missed my flight. I got to the airport around say 5:30 in the morning. I think the flight was for 7, but I couldn't find my Bank of America card,
Oh
so I
no.
was trying to get a card at the airport so I can book my bag for them to take my bags in. And then I was trying to get a machine that I could get a card from. I could not. The airport staff, they were trying to help me. They could not. We were running around. And when it was about 30 minutes to the flight, I was finally able to get a card. And when I got there, they told me I couldn't fly anymore. So
No.
I missed that flight. I had to come back for the flight I was going to Dallas around 5 p.m. in the evening. So if I had not missed that flight, maybe I wouldn't have seen the air hostess, pretty air
And
hostess
the
who
song
inspired me.
might never not have never
might
existed.
might not have been made. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that disappointment was a blessing, and it's one song that I made that I really I relish every moment of making that song.
Wow. So what would you say your goals are with music now? So you've obviously got your next album coming out. Do we have a title? Are we allowed to say that? Are we allowed to say the title of the album?
The title of the album is Every Sound. I
Every
said that at the
sound.
beginning.
Amazing.
The title of the album
Very
reflects
fitting.
every
Very,
sound.
very fitting.
So
And do we have a
yeah,
release
so
date?
it's going to be nothing is set in stone, but we are looking at February.
Okay.
So I just intend pushing some of the singles that are out right now
Yeah.
to a certain extent, get some visibility, and then hopefully by maybe ending of February, the album should be out for the world to see. Mom boy, when I tell
I'm
you
very
it's a
excited to
one in
listen
a
to this
lifetime,
album.
and
You
when I
are
tell you it's a one in a lifetime album, I'm not even trying to hide because there is a lot of I mean, I've had to do Spanish classes. I have a Spanish app that, I use to translate English just because
Wow.
I need to get that reggaeton song right.
Hmm.
So,
So the
so the
dedication in
genre,
this album is
it's
very
it's
high.
it's crazy. Like, but it's interesting having to challenge myself and push myself, and then you're sounding in a different way. Every language has its way of making you sound. Your attitude changes with
Yeah,
different
yeah.
languages. So when I hear myself as a Spanish guy, it's interesting for
It's
me.
interesting.
Yeah, so I like the fact that I've been able to take on all of these personalities, and I can't wait for the world to see.
Yeah.
And then the album is like a game of tones. So you have the hip hop songs fighting for their spot. You have Afrobeat songs fighting for their spot. You have country music saying, "No, we're here." And you have the songs from the Caribbean, the reggae songs saying, "No,
Look at
we are the
me.
hit songs." So yeah. So it's practically a game of tones, and
Mm,
I can't wait for the world to pick and choose,
their
like from
favorite.
the buffet of songs. This is the one I love, or this is the one I love. No, this is the one everyone should love. So I can't wait for the album to hit the streets and
Incredible.
just see what people think.
What would you like people to take away from the album?
What I want people to take away from the album is the ability to not box yourself in and be stereotyped. Because right now, what you see is that every artist from Nigeria is an Afrobeat artist. Even if he does
In the
an R&B
box.
song, he's still an Afrobeat. Yeah. So you see, even a white guy that does an R&B song, people want to just say, "Oh, he's a pop artist." They don't want to think it's an R&B. I mean, I think Justin Bieber complained about that one time.
Mm,
Like he does R&B songs, and they don't want to call it pop. So I just want people to see that the world is music is beyond colors and what people look like or where they come from. It's practically a breakdown of barriers and breakdown of stereotypes. And like there is nothing you can do if you put your mind to
mind
it
to
and
it.
don't let the opinion of people. Like there are some songs that I do and it sounds right, yeah, in the real sense of the word, but if I allow people's opinion, what I think people would think that, "Oh, wow, you sounding like this," it's going to limit that part of me. And a piece of the puzzle of the creativity that is out there in the world would have been removed because I decided not to. And I was thinking about what people would think of me. So I just want people to take away the fact that, don't let stereotypes hold you down.
Don't let the
Don't let
social
barriers hold
pressure.
you down. Don't let the social pressure hold. Let the creativity lead. Don't let
Mm,
what people think
great
lead.
advice.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
that's what I want people to take away from the album.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today, Zexy. You are an inspiration. You've gone through a
Pleasure,
whole lot.
boy.
Um, it's been
Yeah.
it's been really nice to
Yeah.
get to know you, man. Honestly, you've gone through a massive journey yourself. So thank you for taking part today in Crazy Fire's interview. And if you are an indie
Um,
artist yourself and you're looking to get paid fairly for your streams and want to be a part of a community, head to crazyfire.com. And as always, one love, everyone. Have an amazing day. And don't forget to check out Zexy's music and wait for his album in February because it is going to
every
change the
sound.
world. Every sound around February, we don't know yet, but be prepared.
Mhm,
Big love, everyone.
mhm. Thank
Amazing.
you so
Thank
much,
you.
Word.
Cheers for
Thank you,
today.
my boy. Yeah, cheers.